Eu acho que essa DK vai vir com sangue nos olhos, tá? Aqui eu estou torcendo legal para o 2-0.
Until the last series, top 3 in the LCK. And then the Quandong Freaks that have been like an enigma that teams cannot figure out, right? And they were performing very, very well in that match against D+. This is the first time where we're like, if DRX beats D+ here,
Só tá com mosquito aqui no meu quarto, mano.
Alarm bells, all of the warnings, everything needs to come out. It's real. You know, this is a reeling D+. But right now, we can go into this match and feel like D+ should be the team that are better than DRX until proven otherwise. DRX, though, passing the center test with flying colors, as we can see.
Rakan ban is interesting here. We're not super high on Xayah Rakan right now, but
aiming is.
Yeah, he certainly is. He has been reliant on it, you could say.
Yeah.
I think that's good preparation here.
Hoje é baile do Showmaker, tá? Showmaker vai jogar hoje, vai jogar de Thalia, tá? Primeiro jogo de Thalia.
Milio ban here I do like. The Senna is obviously gone, so picks like the Cassante, the Orianna are soaring right now. Varus, which is also still available here, is a pick that aiming could slam down in B1.
Bolão. Qual boneco que o Showmaker vai jogar, guys? Eu tô na Thalia.
Very, very well versed on the champion.
I wonder how Kellen is at it as well.
Yeah, could be something that comes through. Kalista will be what they go for, as Kellen is a very good Renata player, so allowing the Kalista Renata to be a big problem. I think we're going to see Varus and not Yasuo, but
yeah,
it is
Yasuo
cool to see the hover.
Not be it.
That's not it.
Lúcia faz pique. Lúcia do aiming.
I'm pretty sure.
Menos falou que o aiming não tem ser Lúcia.
That's the one. That's the one Taze playing Varus on the other
side.
Your
identification of Varus is incredible, Wolf. But yeah, you're right.
And that solution without Emilio right there that D+ picked first. I'm not a big fan of that one.
They're gonna pick a fish and they're gonna hope for the best, I think is what's going to happen. Or a squid based on that.
Ah, não vai ser Thalia, eu já errei já.
I'm liking, right now, in terms of picks we have here, we have Lucian on one side, we have Varus and Cassante on the other side, Atlas.
Yeah, the tier list is really pointing to DRX at this point in time.
Now the rel is good.
It like that?
The rel is good here, I like that. That one's good.
Yep.
That's comfortable for Lucid. It's going to be a nice front line to absorb some of that damage and give you some potential re-engages. I like that part of this draft. The other part, you know, we'll see how they shape it out. Is now you can go for so many different things here. As DRX, you could prioritize a mid laner if you want to, and then ban away Showmaker a little bit. You can also just grab a strong pushing support here for the Varus.
You could just pick Karma if you wanted to, but instead, they're going to go for the Poppy. I like the Karma just because it is a flex pick, right? So you can put it in mid lane if you'd like to, or you can flex it to bot and have a lot of pushing power down there on the bottom side of the map. But
ó, vão banir a Zir aqui, porque a ADK precisa pegar a Zir. Cara, não vou banir a Zir. Será que vão banir Gwen e Nar?
When you have a Cassante to tank, a Poppy to zone with her ultimate, and obviously just zone in general with her steadfast presence, and a Varus for poke, you have so much objective control in this, you know, densely packed, high-tier champion list that DRX have put together. So
rapaziada, não tá jogando de Karma na LCK, velho.
A little bit here with the Gwen ban. Take that away from Kingen. Yep. And I like the Nautilus ban. Can be quite strong in Dilution Nami. Twisted Fate.
So, what were the chances, Wolf? Do you think that Kingen was going to play Gwen? Even if it wasn't banned?
I mean, I'd say like maybe
ventiladorzinho ali pra quê? Pra mão? Que doideira! Pode levar isso? No CBLOL não pode.
This is what I'm thinking. I just feel like there is no way that Kingen isn't just playing Aatrox.
I mean, since they didn't ban Aatrox, I guess he will, but I was going to say he could also just end up on Udyr duty in this case, which would be a real tragedy, but I think it will be the Aatrox you mentioned. Whereas Caitlyn Varus is going to delay.
Meu Deus, Caitlyn Varus e Pop, mano, nossa. Deixa eu pegar o controle.
Teddy and Pleta can actually play this one out. And who's going to be playing what? And that's a big question.
You get to have now, as Satep counter pick for Showmaker, and you have a winning lane bottom. You have Cassante, so you're never really losing top side. You're never really under any threat into Kingen. As Rascal here, the Aatrox, I mean, this comp is screaming, my mid game is insane. And if Showmaker locks LeBlanc here, you'll feel good about it if you're a Showmaker fan in terms of the power he has in mid game and his comfort on the pick.
And but smile, man. That's what's freaking me out.
Oh
no, he's gonna giggle and smile and then play Karma. Oh God.
Well,
I mean,
this
the
hasn't won in solo lanes yet.
It really hasn't.
Meu Deus, é Karma mid.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been played bottom, so.
Yeah, that's true. It just hasn't done winning. I don't know whether I'm a Talia fan in
Guys,
Karma. She just kind of walks around quickly.
O draft tá esquisito.
Doing anything else, but you can
Como é que eles matam o caçante?
And when you do have double AD carry like this, the amount of setup and zone control with Poppy, all of the Caitlyn traps, the Weaver's wall, and then Cassante being a brick wall in the front line,
I imagine it
makes a lot of sense.
Caitlyn support, yeah, that's going to be the case. And I mean, it could have been Vara support, but that would have been, I think, definitely the weaker variant. You have a lot of utilities as the Caitlyn with the traps and stuff like that, but what the Karma solves for in this draft is it guarantees it was one of the...
Tá esquisito.
Wait, maybe it still is Caitlyn support, and Pleta is just like...
I mean, Pleta is like Reckless
I'm not as...
carry,
yeah, like that's the thing, and he was a great one as well.
Mas uma coisa é certa, esse Atrox aqui, com a Karma buffando, ainda mais o Atrox do Kingen.
It makes sense. We still don't necessarily know who's going to pick the support item, right?
Yeah, let's see who's farming.
Não gostei do draft da DK não, bem
I
ruim.
expect that Caitlyn will be farming. Or sorry, the Caitlyn will be supporting.
I mean, they're both going to be playing like a lethality version of the champion anyway, right? That's what
não sei se tá controlando meu ar-condicionado, velho.
lanes, try and get as much early game power as possible.
Aconteceu, com certeza meu cachorro roubou, velho.
Doesn't solve any of the problems of what you're going to have in late game team fights if you are not steamrolling the game, but it will give you prio early. So you've got to use that to get early advantages if you're D+. Otherwise, you get rolled over.
And it doubles down on their win condition, right? It's we are going to smash mid game and you will have nothing to do. We'll see whether they can achieve it. We hop into the Rift here for game 1.
É.
And Wolf, I'm a little bit
double Doran's blade, so we just don't know yet.
Oh no! And they're really making us sweat for this one to try and figure out who's actually going to be farming. Maybe we'll just maybe it's just going to be Teddy. Because I don't know, he doesn't have Halo Blades, so that makes me feel like he's just going to be going Crit Caitlyn. And you do definitely need items if you're playing Crit Caitlyn. But also, if you're playing Crit Caitlyn, your mid game is a void.
Yeah.
As Ative is going to face check, and he's really dead. And I was about to say, the one part of this composition for me that really doesn't click is the Talia. And now she's not even on the Rift anymore.
So what's interesting is they could have done a lot of different other things. Like
aqui não é dedo diff não, tá? É muito dedo diff. Não é pouco, é muito.
They ended up going for the Talia, which I think the one good thing about Talia is it is going to be able to say no to team fights where the mid game is so strong. You're on the side of D+, where you just put up a Weaver's Wall on a Dragon fight and say, nah, I'm going to try to pick somebody. Or you need to leave because we have great range and we will be able to just avoid the Lucian, avoid the Aatrox. And that's going to be a little bit tougher now that he did die at First Blood. It's Karma, so she's not going to be putting kill pressure on, but is going to be pushing the wave a little bit more comfortably after that first back with 400 gold in her pocket. Down here, this should not be fun for Aiming and Kellen to play in any way, shape, or form.
There's a lot of outranging that's happening there on the bottom side of the map. As Showmaker is going to take Satab for a walk, and Satab is not going to have a very good time at the park.
This is the part of this game in terms of individual players
amassando, velho.
Where there's a giga gap. Unfortunately, Showmaker, despite being on a 2-5 team, is still, I'd say, top 5 mid laners right now.
And also looking better than he was all year last year.
Yeah.
And D+ weren't as bad as they are now.
And Satab has had a lot of early game accidents so far this season, including the one that happened this time.
A mid é muito forte, velho. Só que aqui não é um jogo tão bom pra ela. Assim, acho que falta DPS, né? O jogo pra ela é bom, mas falta DPS.
There was absolutely none. Where Lucid walked is now Pleta. He's in this brush. And Teddy, he's the one that's going to lure them away, wanting to make sure that
aqui
it's
só
not a
é
double kill.
time
The
diff.
crashdown comes in, and Teddy will be taken out. Aiming collects that
Mano.
one, and that is two
Que
very
tristeza, guys, que tristeza.
Yeah. So
estou bem triste com uma notícia dessa.
This is kind of disastrous, you know. I mean, the pathing was good there from Lucid. He avoided both of those wards. came and wrapped around most of the common ward positions there. He's able to avoid. Obviously knows there's one on the blue buff there, and then avoids the pixel brush here. Just skirts around. And they didn't know, and this is what happens. You either have to have vision, which they thought they did, or you have to have a cover if you're going to push really hard with a lane like this. And they had vision, but it was skirted, no cover, and that's a kill going over. So Lucian now has a serrated Dirk in his possession.
Oh, wow. So that is, that's a big tempo buy. Let's just say that. For aiming.
Caraca, o Lucian pegou o item de Letality, guys. Nossa, já demora pra matar o caçante. Com Letality, então. E o aiming, ele é bem famoso por fazer builds feias.
In this comp, I don't hate the Ghost Blade as much as I do in a lot of other ones because
nossa, será que ele vai fazer Yomos?
Me. To win the game before Cassante is tanky anyways. I'm being a bit facetious here, obviously, but we'll see what he does build. But it is going to be very strong, obviously, in the early part of this.
The main reason why I don't like it, Wolf, is that, like, Orcs is there, and we know, like, how upset he's going to be if it happens again.
I mean, I'll be upset too.
Yeah.
And Even though I just said otherwise, I'm like,
and Chronicler will as well, for two reasons. You know, he has to be there with Orcs, like, so upset, and he's also feeling hurt by the purchase. Oh, not so good. Anyway, Carrier did win with support Paris into the Nami last time around.
Yeah, and Telecom more against Lehens, and that was when T1 was winning everything and never losing. And
yeah, was that Spring?
Yeah, he was playing every.
É só pra lane? Então, guys, ele já fez Lucian de Yomos, mano.
Maybe it's like, maybe this is the month.
Nunca duvide do aiming.
We're allowed to have that as
Rascal.
Rascal is walking up to try and kill a minion, and he is going to be able to do
Nossa.
so. Won't be pulled into the chains of corruption circle though, so he'll be.
Esse EW dele foi de cria, velho.
Any other champion there, he would
Do
probably
Atrox, do King.
But because he's Cassante, he'll be okay. And now we'll just have to teleport back to lane.
All my brain can think about is the likelihood of a Ghost Blade.
Well, he could just be doing the Tempo Dirk into Storm Razor.
Oh, I love it.
We have seen that before.
Yeah, big fan.
And then you go Collector second. You know, that's the thing that we have.
Joguinho bem de boa até agora, né? Só gankzinho bot. Mas já tá abrindo gold, já tá quase 1k e meio.
Showmaker having this lead, having constant prio means that you can't use as
triple boop. You love to see it.
That is the Rel moment right there. I was just gonna say, like, besides the fact
Nossa,
that,
mano, tá cheio de mosquito no meu quarto, cara.
The fact that
Por
Karma
quê?
has this extra lead means the prio is a little bit warped here for DRX. Does not feel really good for the amount of control they wanted to have to neutralize the Lucian. As you can see, they're about 1,300 gold behind here already with these 2 kills.
Yeah, and already you can see that, I mean, Teddy and Pletter are kind of doing their job, right? Like, they do have a CS advantage, but it should be larger than this, right? With the investment that they made. Because the longevity of having this Varus that doesn't have very many items is just not going to be as high. You miss out on a lot of late game utility if you don't.
Ah, tá de boa o Lucian. Lucian, numa lane dessa aí que é chata pra caraca contra Caitlyn e vários. Tá com farm igual. Tá suave. Esse jogo aqui tá bem gostosinho aqui pra DK, mano.
Severely limited, so he's going to be doing very little damage ever. Basically, and once he buys the support item, it's going to take him a really long time to complete it, and then even get vision, for example. So he's going to go back and buy it now, you have to assume, but it is a long way from relevance. Now he's picked it up here at 7 minutes in, whereas Kellen's been farming his support item this entire time.
Yeah.
And we'll just have more gold, we'll have his spike.
Aí, ó. Olha a build do Lucian, guys.
And,
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ghostblade is actually.
Ah, cara, ele vai fazer Ghostblade, ele vai fazer Yomos, guys. Eu falei, mano, eu falei.
I think that's a better way to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't quite understand it, nor do I really would I like to buy it myself. But you know, movement speed's a great stat, guys.
It's the off-brand.
Ou é criptoespada?
That's what it feels like to me.
Aquela lá, qual que é o nome?
Get that additional damage, but I can't run at them real fast.
There you go. Run away really fast.
Run away really fast too. Yep.
Espada voltaica. É, criptoespada. Eu li o cara falando de criptoespada no chat e eu achei que era esse nome. Nem existe isso.
Keeping our eye on where Lucid is. I believe going to be spotted on this control ward. They do have, so DRX definitely going to be very happy about that extra vision that they have collected for themselves. And in fact, it's not even going to be cleared, as he does decide to take down the Raptors first. A bit of damage. Evan Flow doing a bunch of work there as well as Kellen. If you had hit that bubble, could have been a big
Nossa
problem. But he
senhora,
does
velho.
walk into a trap, and so aiming does have to
Tu vê a diferença de Lúcia do primeiro jogo pra esse, é diferente, né? É diferente.
Because of course Sponge in the area.
Now this is really, I don't think Satab should commit Weaver's Wall to try to make a topside play. He's going to lose a lot of plates, and it's pretty telegraphed. There's a ward there as well for Kingen. If he had committed to that, that would have been disastrous. He is not going to try to cross-map this. And in fact, it's just going to be Showmaker continuing to push these waves in. Looked like the observers were also thinking he was going to make that play, make that call.
Ué, só a DK joga? Pega Arauto, Arauto não, né? Vasto Larvas, pega Drake, ganka bot. Ah, tá. Achei que ia deixar também, pô.
Sponge moving down towards the bottom lane though, as Lucid just stays on this Drake. See who's going to be able to lock it down, as that is a great ulti from Pleta, able to avoid the bubble as well. Tidal Wave has to be invested. And Sponge says, well, I just wandered down here. Now I'm going to get control of the Drake, and we'll see
a bot lane tá perdendo pra pé de Pleata, é esquisito. Perderam Drake, guys.
And now even the Keeper's verdict is going to come down just to say, nope.
And this is kind of what I was talking about with Weaver's Wall and the Talia in this composition where, okay, Lucian's a little bit strong right now, don't want to deal with that, don't have a lot of control around this objective. Okay, just cut them off. And it was a great ult from Pleta there to actually set it all up to get the damage down, so they can actually then force their way in and then make that Weaver's Wall play.
A diferença de Lucian da primeira série pra segunda é gritante. Mas não acho que o jogo tá ruim pra eles, não. Apesar do Lucian tá fazendo Yomos, ele tá muito na frente.
And I think that if DRX were in a better position in this game, it could have even been maybe they use the Weaver's Wall to secure a kill and grab the objective.
Yeah.
Or just guarantee D+ can't even contest, but still works out in the end.
To be perfectly honest, the fact that they even managed to get the Drake at all is absolutely fantastic if DRX, because they're playing the game of hold on for as long as possible, right?
Não é Yomos, guys, não é Yomos. Tô falando Yomos, mas não é Yomos. Vocês sabem qual que é. Ciclo, espada voltaica. Nossa!
Yeah, down to 100 health here as Showmaker keeps throwing Q buttons at him.
Lucid's going to grab the rest of these bubs as well.
Legal, 6 Vasto Larvas.
So that's going to feel nice for pushing power here.
Yeah, and it's the Hexa bub as well.
We'll get him to do it again.
Yeah, there we go, nailing it. And that is 6.
Nossa, 6 Vasto Larvas.
They're going to have all of that added prowess in a side lane. And there's not a whole lot that can actually stop them from continuing to push in the mid stages of this game, right? They're 2-item, even 1-item spikes are really.
Se matarem qualquer lane aqui, cai a torre. Será que ele fecha já o item? O Lucian fecha, né? Olha o gold, velho. Não parece vários predinhos? Não parece a silhueta de vários predinhos?
There has been sort of gaps, so it's going to be sort of dire straits here for DRX, I think, as we move towards the mid game to see whether they can actually stop all of their stuff from breaking.
Yeah, and I think, you know, once Pleta actually starts to get some of
Cara, parece. Real parece, velho.
Build, you know, potentially like an Umbral Glaive and start clearing vision.
Pô, galera, óbvio que parece, cara. Vamos ficar falando que agora é TDAH. Sendo que eu estou certo. Nossa, só o Kamehameha.
Once he becomes relevant to control some of that vision, like there is an angle here for DRX. A lot of the gold lead for D+ outside of those 2 kills is actually just on the fact that Kellen had a support item first. So keep that in mind when we look at some of these numbers that were shown earlier in terms of the support gold advantage. Doesn't feel great for Pleta, but he will eventually
2K e meio de gold, velho. É muito gold.
And thankfully, we're safe, so we don't even need to worry about it. It was the Cyclo Sword all along.
Showmaker é bom, velho. Ele é diferente, sério mesmo. Se o Showmaker tivesse naquela HLE, era taça, tá? Tenho dito.
I mean, I think we've gotten used to Stormrazor being the build, but Cyclo Sword was fun for a little while.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that item. It was really a week 1 kind of experiment.
I mean, there was a time where Brutalizer did build into Ghostblade. It was just like 8 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. Sometimes my brain forgets.
Slay alert. That's not Ox's favorite item, but it is going to be completed here early. You can see how quickly.
2K e meio, 13 minutos de jogo. É muito gold, velho.
That's the first step.
Wow.
Nossa, o mid não consegue jogar, velho.
I don't think so.
It's really kind of like ridiculous the amount of damage that you do.
Yeah.
Able to take down all of the melees with one of the Qs.
And then another Q to get the ones that didn't kill on the first one.
The crazy thing is, it's like he hasn't even hit Malignance yet, and that's when it gets even worse.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Now, also Mandate was completed on this back here for Kellen, so he has his support item done. He has Mandate now. And the Dragon is spawning in 40 seconds. I do not think a Weaver's Wall this time will be alone enough to secure the objective. I think DRX are going to either have to give this one away or maybe try to force for a pick somewhere else. Maybe either try to cross map or, well, running away.
That's a decent
Se
way to
pega, hein?
That's probably not going to get you anything, but hey, Herald is up.
Gets you out.
Nossa, caiu a torre do bot.
We do have 17 seconds on the Mountain Drake, and aiming will be able to transition from this out.
Karma já tem o item dela. Esse item é roubado pra Karma. Roubado. O Malevolence faz o ult dela voltar toda hora. Drakezinho da montanha. Muito bom tirar do caçante. Não pode deixar o caçante pegar isso, senão ferrou. Outro RQ? Nossa, ainda gastou barrier.
Will continue to feel. In this case, Teddy is feeling. So they're just going to push down these turrets. Like, oh, you got Rift Herald. I don't care. I'll just take turrets the old-fashioned way with Bubs. And that's what we want to do. Sponge is trying to ult. Oh,
nossa, mano, é muito pouco. Ai!
Aiming is ganking them from behind the turret.
GG, guys.
And there are Bubs here. Remember, this is 6
GG.
Bubs strong. So this outer turret is not long for the world. And my goodness, what an incredible play from D+. This game looked like it wasn't quite there yet. But now it looks completely doomed.
No, it is completely doomed, yeah. 2 turrets down, so Aiming has 2 kills now. His second kill, he picks up there. He got the whole turret bottom side. Now they got mid turret. Where can you Herald here now as Sponge? You don't really have great opportunities. He missed his ultimate, unfortunately, tried to use to defend the turret, and then ends up losing out with the flanking Lucian.
Quero saber o dano da Karma, mano. Quanto que ela já deu de dano? Mano, com certeza ela é top damage. Ela tá dando muito dano, velho.
Hey, but it is like the Aatrox Chemtech Soul, so that feels a little better.
Sure.
You know?
As this just misses, and then Lucid flash ults.
Nossa, sem counterplay, velho.
Just kills them. He only gets one of the kills, but, you know, he already got a turret. He'll take a second kill and an additional turret in mid. He's big. Teddy's all right.
Yeah, now we're going to bring up the 0-5 Karma stats. I do feel a little bit like this is somewhat of an anomaly.
Isso é o quê? É o histórico da Karma?
Center that pops up as like this was against the center composition. This was against the center composition. Over and over again, because that might be
a Karma só perde, guys.
Hey, the Cassante win rate might also go down. I should put that one up as well.
E vocês falam isso pra mim agora?
There are always silver linings.
That was production's way of also doing this one is doomed.
But maybe it's also time to celebrate the Karma finally winning.
Essas infos da LCK só mostra agora, né? Engraçado. Parece que ela espera alguma coisa.
Don't remind me of the Garen incident.
It didn't win, but it was the first Garen.
And they didn't lose the series, so there you go.
Yeah.
And it was Lucian Melio's fault. It wasn't Garen's fault.
True.
And the build could have been a little bit better. I could make excuses for days, all right?
Wait, yeah, Lucian's win rate this week also about to go up a lot as well, Atlas.
Oh, that's true. That's a bit of a... I don't know whether we want to be encouraging more Lucian. But the way that D+ are playing this composition is pretty quintessential for a winning Lucian.
Olha os caras tendo que juntar todo mundo no top, velho. Mano, a Karma não para de dar RQ, velho. Ela dá um RQ, aí tá com Q normal. Dá um RQ, tá com Q normal.
That's not a Lucian moment, that's a Winshian moment?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Alright, Seitab can get
flash
on here. As the tidal wave comes in, the explosion is...
Meu Deus, matou, velho!
And Showmaker is absolutely a cool guy. Now Lucid making his way, and he's just going to Magnet Storm
on the
spot, being a brick wall, but Rascal's going to go all out. And Lucid does have to use that to try and escape Kingin. Kind of a monster in this fight, but there's a Cassante, and he's still a problem. Kingin somehow survives. Is this World 2022? Is he back? as now Showmaker comes around from the side, but Sponge able to walk it off as the Poppy, and Satab, the only one to fall down.
We call Lucid and Lucian.
Só 6k de gold, guys, em 18 minutos de jogo.
Lucid went in, and Kingen went in, and then there was a re-engage.
Showmaker tá fazendo um V9, velho, sério mesmo.
But then Lucid, he pressed his ult, and afterwards, eventually aiming on Lucian went in. That's what Lucid and Lucian.
It was another Lucid and Lucian.
You just gotta wait. You just gotta wait for it, because it starts off a little bit disjointed here, as the Lucian is not yet really in position to do it. His aiming is
Mano, como é que ele matou a Thalia, velho?
And then they're like, all right, well, we have Magnet Storm.
Foi uma malevolência, né?
The Magnet Storm isn't great. Sponge is able to avoid that and then get in here and pop an ultimate, which does push a lot of utility away from this. And then Kingen gets a little Cassanta'd. And then he actually somehow survives, as no one's able to hit him with anything. And then there's the Lucian. Like I said, Lucid and Lucian.
Yeah, and it just pushes them away.
Mano, muito dano, velho. Calma, tá dando muito dano. E ela fechou o segundo item agora. Quero ver um RQzão dela. Natalia acho que arranca a perna. Se pega a Natalia nem brinca mais com pedra.
And he is now almost double the damage of the next highest, which is Kingen. He might triple aiming's damage, which is hilarious because he's a 2-0 and 2 Lucian who got 2 turrets. That's just the power of karma. We should probably still pick this one.
Shelly is going to be used as an escape
Foi
tool
isso.
here by Satab. Just going to crash her into the wall over here.
It's his second escape this time. Last time he used the Weaver's Wall. This time he's using the Rift Held. His escape arc
Me.
is this guy.
I like it. It's like you fool me once, shame on me, but you're never fooling me again. But please don't kill my Nexus, I think is kind of the thing. Oh my goodness, okay. This is what happens when the Lucian gets
Mano, é muito poke, é toda hora, é poke, é poke, é poke.
Rapid fire cannon now completed as well, and we've got fights all over the place. Aiming just frontlining here, and
morreu.
once again in trouble. Will get knocked up, pulled back, and King.
Não tem como, né? É o Atrox do homem, velho. O Kingen tem esse Atrox, cara. Ele é como se fosse o Ael coreano. Ele é o Atrox, né?
Oh, cool. Anyway, Rascal is going to take a bit of damage here from Showmaker. And man, this DRX composition just doing what it says on the tin. And it's working out beautifully. Now taking down an inner turret here as we crest the 20-minute mark.
And I mean, aiming, he is very big. He just ulted a Poppy, but he's got to compete with Showmaker's damage numbers in this game, right? Because he's like, man, I might actually be out of playing marksman. I might have to play Karma 80 carry from now on if this is going to go, because that Showmaker damage is real.
Vai cair as 3 T2. Vai abrir 10k de gold. Eles vão Baron e vão acabar o jogo.
Damage numbers could continue to ramp up, but I mean, he bought a needlessly large rod. It's ramping. As yeah, Satab, unfortunately, he wanted to get that last minion. It will be his undoing, as he is just.
And I kind of caster cursed him as well, because I said that he was going to keep making escapes, and he didn't escape. Not from that one. By the way, do you think if aiming was forced to play Karma, that Kellen would play Nico? Because I really want a Karma Chameleon lane.
I would be down for it, just for the comedic effect.
Yeah, I think
DRX ainda ganha essa partida?
Can be killed when he doesn't have flash, not yet. Oh, how much does he want that ward? He wants to.
Sem nem o que falar, mano.
But how much do DRX think that they will not die if they try to engage on him? And the answer is
Sem nem o que falar.
will, I guess. Especially without Cassante, who's the only one that can really take a cure to.
Bloodsong?
Even then, I don't know.
Bloodsong on Pleta means that the fact that he's holding no items will still allow him to do some amount of damage. But he's just going to leave, actually.
And Teddy's going to try to leave. The Showmaker using the Inspire Shield, and there's the crash down. My god, the damage. Magnet Storm is going to pull Teddy back, and it'll take a bit of damage there, an extra smite, but the Caitlyn will fall. And 7-0, guys.
É Baron, né?
It's feeling somewhat one-sided.
I just don't know if Karma's viable. It couldn't kill him without smite.
Free Baron.
That was your takeaway from this
He doesn't
moment.
have smite for Baron.
Free Baron?
Now they're going to contest with a teleport here. This could be problematic. Look, Lucid, no smite.
He is only 4 times.
Não, não é Free Baron, não.
I think that could be higher as well as Pleto taking so much.
Meu Deus, o Rascal errou o ult do Caçante.
Sponge wanting to be a bit of a frontline. They are actually winning out in the 3v3. The 2v2, though, you don't want to look at if you're a DRX fan, as Rascal is unfortunately going to fall down.
Successful Baron delay.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, actually, as Showmaker has decided that perhaps if we kill everyone, we won't need to take the Baron, and that might actually be true. Satab rotating over. Is this turret actual safety, though, is the question. As Ace in the Hole comes through, but that is a very tanky rel, and Lucid will be A-OK. Showmaker still lurking on the sidelines of the fight. I have a feeling it might be over for now. As Sponge is dead, that should mean Baron.
Should definitely, but doesn't necessarily need to be is the question. Like you were already kind of implying earlier. Satab is dead.
Oh, yeah, there's the bubble. And
Mano, que humilhação, guys.
10 stacks
Chega a ser
are sealed
triste, velho.
as well now on this Karma, as I think Showmaker is appealing to his teammates to not end the game so that he can continue to play Karma.
Chega a ser triste, guys.
We did, you know, we always are scared. We're not sure what it means. You mentioned earlier when you see the Showmaker giggle before the game starts.
I mean, we used to know exactly what it meant, Wolf. You know, we used to. You were sitting there beside me when you'd see that grin on his face, and then we'd be leaving LOL Park at like 7:30, and that should never happen.
Yeah.
You know?
We don't really have sub 20-minute games anymore with this meta, but it's about as close as it's going to get. I mean, the game certainly did end, you know, pre-15 minutes, but
it was decided.
Yeah, it was decided. But Showmaker's out 3,500 gold ahead. He has a death cap, so I'm really just looking forward to myself as a connoisseur of Karma priority.
Connoisseur, if you will.
Yeah, connoisseur of how much his next mantra Q is going to do. I want to see, even on a Cassante.
Oh God.
I want to see it. It doesn't matter who he hits. If he hits Teddy, that's at least half his health bar. Like probably
at least, yeah.
And that's like without the burn on the ground. Oh, come on, Showmaker, press it, press it, press it.
Yeah, let's see what happens. As they are going to push in Lucid. Does a bit of damage there to Rascal, but the Magnus Storm onto 4. The bubble comes in as well, and they're being cold. Absolutely decimated. We had our eyes on the Karma, but it was everybody else that was tearing them to shreds. And Showmaker will finally take down Sponge.
Acabou o jogo.
Is defecting. He's running to the other side of the rift because he knows this game is done. D+ will break open the base here at 25 minutes and maybe just look for a purple buff to wear as they kill the enemy.
Yeah, I mean,
Isso porque eles não acabaram o
there
jogo.
was a dragon taken by Weaver's Wall. There was a Herald that was used as an escape, but otherwise we are looking at perfect game territory here for D+, as Lucid and Showmaker just closing the gap, and you yoinked back.
Pô, dava pra ter acabado, não dava?
I mean, I'd want to congratulate Lucid for this play, but it was mainly DRX players that put him in the position that he was.
He was like, I'm trying to get in there and press R, and they were like, we can help you with that. We're ready to move on to game 2.
Yeah.
And I think we all are 6-0-6 on the Karma.
We need that Magites. He's just gone back to base.
Yeah,
is it Magites or has he built a Blighted Jewel? Or both?
I think it's got to be Magites, right?
It's got to be. It's got to be the Showmaker feeling himself.
Thanks, Red Bull, but we got to, you know.
Yeah, and we appreciate the power play here.
We do. But
he's only sitting at like 700 right now, but he doesn't. It was just a book. It was a book, so it's the right direction, right? But it's not quite the right book.
Yeah, it just didn't quite.
May have just not.
Some of his kills were taken away in that last fight, so.
Eles vão parar pra fazer Drake, imagina.
Yeah.
So 6-0-6 though.
Aqui é só acabar.
Phenomenal performance here by Showmaker.
Satab looking to take that turret away top side.
Hey, there we go.
That's bounty gold.
It is. Does have teleport, so he can be here for the eventual defense that'll need to occur. And he does take that bounty gold like you were talking about. This Drake basically forgotten at this point in time. D+ have better things on their mind, as it turns out. TP.
Cara, olha o dano da Karma. Olha o dano do Showmaker. Showmaker virou um Goku, mano. Manda só Kamehameha.
Quite nicely is still Cassante after all. Seismic shove onto aiming, but it's just not really doing too much. Kellen tanking the ace in a hole is, oh my goodness, okay. There goes the theoretically tanky Poppy as Teddy's just trying to survive, but he's so far away from his teammates. That's an all-out, and Lucid once again uses it as a taxi. Everyone's just exploding. These cues from this Karma.
Mais um. Na Caitlyn.
He's shooting 2-pointers, not even 3-pointers, man.
Yeah, no, this is ridiculous. Teddy's like, just please end the game. And they are going to acquiesce. There is game 1 victory for D+ Kia. They're going to need another one, but it might be the end of the losing.